Hey everyone, how you doing? Uh, I'm just going live. I wasn't planning to go live. I just had a bit of spare time. And also I thought it'd be a good idea to clear the air up a little bit as well, because one of my videos has caused a bit of conflict with some people in terms of where I talked about business guru scams, and I don't think they fully understand the point I was making. So if anyone wants to discuss that a bit more, we can talk about it. Just got to double check that my streaming is okay. Just wait a moment. Yep, streaming should be fine. If there is any buffering or any issues, please do let me know. But usually the streaming should be totally okay. Right, let's just see if anyone comments or drops in. So I've been quite busy at the moment with a couple of client websites, but also just trying to decide on where I'm going in 2026. Hey Gail, how you doing? So with 2026, obviously still doing client work, still doing videos. I have to accept the fact that some web design work is lower than where it was last year and the year before. A lot of that is down to AI and how some people are choosing to build. But also with regards to YouTube, revenue from YouTube is way lower than it ever used to be. And that's because the YouTube algorithm has also changed a lot. But yeah, I did a video about 2 days ago. Might even be yesterday or 2 days ago. Might be yesterday, actually. I sometimes lose track of what I record. Hey, Mike, where I was trying to warn people about business guru influencers and scams out there. And I think a lot of people got the wrong end of the stick. What they don't understand is teaching their students how to do what they're doing, which is try and make out that you've got this really amazing like package or something or some sort of offering, and then you offer it out to people, and you make it like a limited time offer, and then people sign up, and then they are, rather than having one-to-one sessions, they're part of like a group thing. So you might have like 20 people in a group, and they all pay like $1,000 and you make loads of money, but you're just doing a group session once a week. And I always find that so false. That's not, you're not really providing support to a lot of people. Venkant from India, can you please give me one of my client websites consuming too much bandwidth, nearly 800. Wow. So you've got a client website that's, when you say bandwidth, do you mean traffic they're getting in? Or the size? I mean, it's not the size of the website. I mean, that's ridiculous. But when you say you're getting that much bandwidth, so visitors kicking in, where's the traffic coming from? Is it a particular IP address, country? What kind of website is it? Is it an e-commerce website? Is it due to mass marketing? Is it due to bots? Do you get a lot of failed logins? Do you get a lot of like attacks, malcache, stuff like that? So you've said yes, but I just asked loads of questions there. So which one? Which one? You're going to have to give me a bit more than just yes. Safe says, please make a full course to building a theme and plugins. I don't build themes and I don't build plugins. I build code snippets, but I don't build themes and I don't build plugins. And to be honest, I could, if I want, use AI to help write the script, but that would be so false because I wouldn't be able to answer a lot of questions, and that's kind of like what I've been warning people about. Every time I do a course or create anything, that's me, all right? That's not me using AI to generate what I'm going to say. And I don't know, what kind of security plugins are you using? WP Armor, WP-ARMOUH, Armor, I think it's about $50 a year, or is it $20 a year? $50 or $20 a year, right? You could use something like that. I'm just going to close down some apps I've got open because I feel like it's interfering with the bandwidth. Is anyone getting any issues with the bandwidth? Can anyone just confirm? Because at the moment, my bandwidth should be... yeah, my bandwidth's okay. My bandwidth's fine, so we should be all right. Dev says, I have purchased your Elementor course. Is that where I can share my queries? No, because your query is nothing to do with the course, Dev. So, it's nothing to do. So what you could do is go to the Facebook group. So if you go to Facebook, go for Web Squadron, right? Do a search for Web Squadron, find the Facebook group, and then go and join that. And when you're in there, you can ask your question. Yeah, it says it keeps freezing, doesn't it? But I don't get why. Because my bandwidth is extraordinarily amazing right now. So I don't know if this is... I don't know. And I'm not sure why. Because my... this is annoying now because I can see it freezes, but my internet speed is okay. Like I'm on 900 megabytes upload, not, well, near enough upload. Let me just check. Because it shouldn't be making a huge difference. I hate it when this happens because you do lose control over, like it's not you, it's just YouTube because my speed is totally fine. So anyway, I just want to clarify again to anyone out there that when I was saying that you got to watch out, when I say like you got to watch out for gurus and influencers that are trying to get you to buy their courses, I think a lot of them don't understand is that I'm warning you against people out there that are claiming that they're going to help you get rich or they're going to help you achieve XYZ. What they fail to understand is that I'm not saying that don't join a course that teaches you how to improve your business or how to build a website, as long as you're not buying into something where there is no clear deliverable. So when you join the Elementor course, you know you're going to learn how to build an efficient, methodical Elementor website. In fact, you build 4 of them. If you join a CSS course, you're going to learn CSS. If you join a JavaScript course, you're going to learn JavaScript. The trouble with a lot of courses and people is they say, come and join my course, right? And I'm going to help you make like £20,000 or dollars a month using YouTube and other stuff. There's no guarantee. And they're able to get out of that if you ever challenge it, because they'll be like, well, you know, you have to put in the hard work and, you know, we can't control what happens. But so many people get hooked into that. And when I'm saying to people, don't join courses where it's an empty promise, I'm talking about those. But so many people thought I was talking about them, even though I did not mention any names, even though I did not refer to anyone in the WordPress world, in fact. And it has made me a little bit annoyed with how some people interpreted that. I always say, okay, in that if you are offended by something, even though it never mentions you or even your niche area, but you are offended and it touches a nerve, I think you have to take a step back and wonder, why is it touching a nerve? Kind of thing. Hopefully, though, the refreshing, whatever buffering we had before is kind of reduced now. So back to dev. If you have any issues, sorry for the yawn there, bit tired. If you want to just go to the Facebook Web Squadron group, go and post your question in there. We should then, I'll make sure you get admitted into the group. And then hopefully someone can help you out. Maybe, maybe not. That's the thing, Gail, with YouTube, right? Like you say, it's perfect now. In the next 20 minutes, it could go really erratic. I mean, I've got an Ethernet cable plugged into my Mac Mini, which goes all the way back to my router. And the maximum my router can do at the moment is about 950, 999. And it's on 950 now, and the upload speed is 80. Sometimes it hits 100. If you ever do decide you're going to do YouTube live streaming, any of you for anything, you need to have a minimum of 15 megabytes per second. Seriously, 15, 1.5. And even then at 1.5, you may get the odd little stutter. Just the odd one now and again. I'm on 80 and we still had a problem, but that doesn't matter. So how's everyone doing? How's your web designs? How's things going? Obviously, we had the big news about Elementor. We had Elementor 1, which I know has... it's not gone down too well with everyone, mainly due to the prices, but if you're grandfathered into your normal contract, you won't see a price change. If you choose to upgrade, then obviously you're going to see a price change, but you make that decision. The trouble is, though, anyone brand new, they're going to see the price change unless they just get 1 or 2 licenses or 3 licenses. So your clients won't see a big jump in price, if that makes sense. And then we also had clarity on version 4 for Elementor, which is now in the beta stage. So we've gone from alpha to beta. We're now saying it's ready for production, basically. I am still not planning to do any full-blown tutorials until we have the final version, mainly because anything could change. I've always found that whenever I do videos on a beta, and then you get to the final, my beta video is slightly out of date because they might have renamed or removed or done something that you couldn't do before, kind of thing. I'm yawning a lot, which is not a good sign because it's only 2:24. Might be because I haven't had Pepsi Max since last night. So what I've been doing, okay, so I've got my sparkling mineral water, okay, and I've been adding this, right? Whoa, my light! I just knocked my light over behind me because I moved my chair. That light's for the light behind me over here on the wall. Anyway, so 9 squirt. You do 9 squirts, right? And this has got 0 calories in, by the way. It's orange, right? 0 calories. So you just 9 squirts into this. And it tastes awesome. But there's no caffeine. And I'm really feeling it now. Like I'm having caffeine withdrawal at the moment. Gail says, it's not sure about Elementor 1 yet. I've had issues with Ally and never used AI. Yeah, you see, I used Ally. I wasn't keen on it. I used Angie. I wasn't keen on it. I don't use the image optimization because I got my Pix Refiner. And when it comes to AI, I prefer to do things separately. So I'll have my chat GPT and that's where I experiment, whatever. I don't want to do it at the same time as building because what then happens is you ask a question and you have to wait, don't you? If you ask a question, you got to wait for it. So I like to keep my AI window separate if I'm going to do any brainstorming or, okay, here's a page source. Let's come up with some CSS because I want to experiment or do something differently. I want to have that separate and I can carry on working. Because then I might have a brainstorm and go, oh, I don't need AI. I've worked out what to do all myself. I don't want to then have like this constraint, just like what Gail is saying. Same. You have this constraint then, right? And then there was the whole sitemap wireframing. Again, I like to scribble and draw things out. I have found every AI tool that generates a wireframe for how your website should look is never actually what you're going to go with at the end of the day. You know, because if you're going to build a website for a landscaper, you've probably already decided roughly how you're going to build it, or properly, or roughly, based on the content. Like, how big is the header? What kind of images have you got? How many services? Or is there going to be a blog or products and stuff? You've kind of started formulating. When you go and tell AI, any AI, it's just going to come up with some random shit. And why would you want to use it, import it, and then spend more time stripping things out and refining? Strip, refine, strip, refine. Isn't it easy just to have a blank page and build your perfect header, your perfect hero banner, your perfect section? Because once you got your perfect headers and titles and call to action buttons, right? And you got your CSS framework with your font clamp and all of that, and now you need another button, copy paste the button. Now I want to have a H2 heading. Go on then, I'll do that as well. Bit of text. Oh, I just changed the class name from XXX large to medium. Boom, 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 boom. Everything just flows and works. So I always feel like we get excited by toys that serve zero purpose, right? And it reminds me of, and I can't even remember, I was thinking about this morning. And it's to do with, do you remember in the early noughties, right? So around about 2000 time, okay? everyone had business cards. And then what started happening was businesses and companies and people, they started sending out mini discs, not a full compact disc. It was like a mini disc. And you would insert the disc into your computer, right? And it would then be literally like a business card. Sometimes it literally was just a business card that would appear on your screen. Or there might be music or someone talking. Some were really fancy with like video, and you had, what was it? Windows Media Player or Flash Player. That was it. It was Flash Player or something. Do you remember those? Does anyone remember that? So we're going back 25 years ago. That was a big thing, and then it died. It came, everyone started doing it, and then it suddenly disappeared. Because I think people realized that, number one, there were people that realized they had viruses on them because you never knew. Like, you'd get an envelope through the post and there'd be like a disc in there saying, for more details, watch the disc. You're like going, what? Because people were trying to be like clever. They were going, oh, you don't need to print like a 20-page leaflet and the booklet and all of that, right? No, you get this little mini disc, right? And on it is the business card and all the videos and whatever. They came huge, everyone was doing it, and then boom, it disappeared. Like within the same year, I think people just suddenly were like, I can't be arsed with this. Like, what? Because they suddenly realized that not everyone is going to go, ooh, I'm going to go home now and put this in my computer. Because back then, right, you got to remember, okay, back then, 25 years ago, the Trojan virus was massive. Do you remember that? The blue screen of death? All of these malware, viruses, shit, it was everywhere. Do you remember the early noughties? So people were more skeptical than ever, and it just died a death. But anyway, yeah, I've cut back. I haven't given up on Pepsi Max, but I'm just trying to see, can I reduce the burden of me always having to go and buy Pepsi Max and just, I mean, I still have my sparkling mineral water. But, yeah, this is orange, by the way. It's not a urine sample, orange. And then you squirt. 9. And I have tested it. I started off with 4, then I went to 6, then I went to 8, then I went to 9, 10. 10 was all right, and this morning I tried 9. I've realised now 9 is the sweet spot. 9 is absolutely fine. I might try 8 again, maybe. Because every little drop counts, doesn't it? The less drops you use, the longer this will last. So far, I've used this for... Oh, shoot. I can't remember now. 1, 2, 3, 4 bottles, right? And so far, it's about halfway. It's halfway. That means I've done 2 litres. This is meant to do 8 litres. So I think this is expecting you to use 4 drops. So I'm going to have to replan this. You don't need to know this, but I thought I'd share it anyway. Iku, how do you go about if a client wants conversions and search rankings and you can do your best but can't really guarantee? Well, you have to explain that to them then. You have to explain to them that, well, okay, no. Let me rewind, okay? Let me rewind. First thing, you can't guarantee search rankings unless they pay for sponsored ads, which a lot of them won't. Number 2, you can't guarantee that people will click, right? Number 3, you can't guarantee that people will stay on a website. So here's what you can do to improve search rankings and conversion. Okay? Social media. Are they or you posting every day on social media? Number 2, are you doing video marketing? What is the company? What industry are they in? Landscaper, dentist, what are they in? So think about TikTok videos, Insta, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. Are you doing that on a daily basis? You might sit there going, shit, daily. Yeah, you got to. Sorry, seriously, this is the world we're in now. Okay, now you have to. The third thing, is the website optimized so that if I find the website, and I don't know what industry it is yet, so please tell me, if I jump on, am I going to feel confused, or does it make sense as to what I need to do and where I go? And when you say conversion, do you mean contact them, fill in a contact form, buy a product, get a quote? Where are we going with this? So just a few more details. What is the industry? okay? And what in their eyes is the perfect conversion? And are you doing social media marketing and video marketing, which is the same as social media, but I like to split them off because posting a post is very different than a video post or an animated GIF. Does that make sense, what I'm asking there? So those questions, if you can try and answer them, that will help me to advise you a little bit better than what I've currently got at the moment. So I'll just wait for you to kind of give me a few more comments or something. Oh, what's going on here? Yep, just wait for the, just give me a reply on that and that will help to clarify. So anyway, back to Elementor 1 and all of that. I can't see myself rushing out to use it with Elementor 1. I'm quite happy just using the Elementor things. But yeah, I can't see myself rushing out. But like I said earlier, for anyone that has just tuned in or was listening, I got quite a bit of negativity because of my business scam video. And people are saying, well, I do the same. I don't feel like anything I do is the same at all because I do not push you all into a group kind of learning kind of thing. Or I don't promise you like I'm going to work with you because that's a separate one-to-one. And the cost effectiveness of what I offer, where it's $4.99 a month, or you can buy the one-off package for $35. I think a lot of people are trying to say that I'm the same. Yeah, but I don't charge $1,000 for an open-ended whatever with no promises. Lepetiki, are you using V4 on live sites? Not yet. Not yet. Mainly because do you know something? Can we have a frank conversation here? Why would you need to use V4? Tell me why you would need to use V4. And this is to everyone. Tell me why you would need to use V4. What's the rush? It's a great thing with the class system and all of that, and you got this unified styling block, but tell me why you need to use V4. Akiku, in general, no particular industry. That doesn't really help though, does it? I don't enjoy doing... No, I'm not talking about Google Ads, right? I don't like Google Ads, but this is the thing, right? You have to say to your client, once the website is built, who is going to do the marketing? Who's going to post on social media? Who's going to do the video marketing? Who's going to do that? So that's a very important question. When anyone approaches any of you and says, I want a website, or even if you are cold calling or cold emailing and say you need a website or we can build for you, you need to be addressing the fact that after the website is built, are they going to require regular maintenance that you could support? You know, plug-in updates or fixes or whatever like that. But what about the social media? What about the video marketing? What about revising and reviewing the keywords? What about addressing or assessing how competitors are doing? Because what your competitors are doing now will change in 6 months. Are you doing a blog? Are you part of a newsletter? Have you got a subscription list? Are you going to be emailing out? All of these things play in. Just having a website, too many people make this mistake. I got a website, job done. No, you're just starting. You've literally just released out into the World Wide Web now. You're out there. But think about it. When you have a made... Okay, look. The next Spider-Man film, right? So many people will want to watch it. But even though it's going to come out, they will still go mass marketing, won't they? They'll send all the stars to do interviews and talk shows and stuff. Why? You could argue and go, you don't need to do that. People will watch the film regardless. No. Just because you've made the website or the movie, you gotta now get in on the marketing side of thing and getting out there. So, Max makes a really good point. Better code, but other than the faster code, is it really that is it going to make that big a difference? Is it going to make that big a difference? Because I did some testing and building something, but it was with the alpha version. And the loading times of the websites was so negligible, I was a bit like, meh. I mean, you could have a website that is built absolutely brilliantly, right? And there'll be improved page speed score or the back-end coding, but I often look at it and go, there's nothing wrong with V4. I think V4 is good, but I don't think there should be a major rush. I don't think there's anything groundbreaking in going from V3 to V4, and you will probably find that when you build your website, you're going to have a mixture of V4 and V3, because so many of the version 3 widgets have not been made for version 4. So we only have some version 4 widgets, but we don't have loads of the other ones. So you're going to find that you'll just be mixing them up a bit. Anyway, Tigs and Bolts. Hey, great to see you here, by the way. Sorry, bit late reading the comments here. What do you think? Is WordPress still king in the world of AI? Yeah, look. I built a website for someone 2 years ago, right, using WordPress. That same person has now decided they wanted another separate website. But rather than coming back to me, what they did is they went and used Lovable to create their own separate website with a booking system. So they did it all via Lovable. And that's the scary thought, in that a lot of people now are turning to AI. So in 2025, the amount of website requests kind of went like that. Okay. And in 2026, it's nosedived. There are still some, but it's nosedived a bit. And we have to accept that now people are going to find other ways of doing things. Because at the end of the day, right, when companies or businesses say they want a website, they have not said, I need a WordPress website. They just want a website. A lot of them may have built a website on GoDaddy, which back then, or where, you know, was just whatever it was, right? And the minute you say WordPress, they kind of go, what's that? What do you mean? Kind of thing, right? So I think what's going to happen, and when I say I think it's going to, it is already happening, is that a lot of people now are going to say, I want a website. They'll jump onto AI, or they'll get their sons or daughters to do it, and they will jump onto AI, or their friend, or someone else, or whatever, or they'll see a company that just says, we'll help you do it at a fraction of the cost of paying for a web designer. And they'll just use AI and stuff like that to create a simple website. Because at the end of the day, if AI, and it can, so I shouldn't use the word if, AI can create a website the equivalent of what you might have done with WordPress and maybe 6 or 7 other plugins. That's the world we're in now. WordPress can still survive because the difference is that you can be very particular as to what is needed for the client. The trouble with AI is that it will assume quite a lot, and even when you go back to refine it, it might not get it quite right. And you're continuously prompting, reprompt, redo, change that, wrong color. I want the shape of the button to be XYZ. Oh, I now want to change all of my colors. Oh, I've got to reprompt, back and forth. If you have patience, you're okay. Well, you hire someone to do it, you're kind of okay. So I still feel like WordPress is still there, but it's going to become WordPress. Before it was WordPress versus Webflow versus Wix versus Squarespace, right? And then inside of WordPress, we had Elementor versus Bricks versus Breakdance versus Oxygen, Beaver Builder, Etch, Divi, all of that, right? Now we've got AI. And AI is the challenger to everything. Not just within WordPress, but outside WordPress, and even the internet as a whole in the way it operates and does things. Max says, each edit in Lovable is credit, which means, exactly, yeah, backend is bad, it can be easily broken, probably low price will go to AI. Do you know what, right? We're going to see the same thing we had with Wix, GoDaddy, Squarespace, even Shopify to a point as well. Bluehost page builder, GoDaddy page builder, Intuos, one-on-one, all of those, right? They have their own internal page builder, right? People are going to jump onto that, realize they're making mistakes or not getting it quite right, realize it doesn't look so good on the mobile, realize they lose Wix do not give you control over your SEO. They do it all, but you lose control. Did you know that? So when you realize you now want to take back control, that's when they may seek out web designers. But everyone here has to accept that unless you've got a healthy load of monthly retainers with some clients where they keep coming back, and you're always getting that guaranteed monthly income until they leave you, you are going to see a drop off. All right. 2025 was a drop. No, let me get that right. 2024 was great. 2025, we saw a drop, but 2026, or even I know it's only January, and you shouldn't base the year on just 29 days of January, but there are signs already. Big drop off, right? From my point of view, there's a drop off in the web agency work, and the YouTube algorithm changed about 4 months ago. And without going into earnings, let me put it this way. The YouTube earnings have gone down by... let me tell you how much it's gone down by, right? The YouTube earnings have gone down... Let me get this right. I need to make sure I get this right, okay? I don't want to give you false information, right? Come on, get this right. The YouTube earnings have gone down by about 85%, right? So to give you an idea, and by the way, I was not earning these amounts, but I just want to get you to understand, right? Let's pretend you were earning £100 a day. You're now down to 15. So if you are only earning £1 a day, you're now earning 15 pence. There's a massive the YouTube algorithm kind of thing. And that's not down to AI. It's just down to some weird YouTube algorithm kind of thing, which is kind of like weird and wonderful kind of thing. I don't know. Max says he's working with a few agencies and they still didn't migrate to AI sites. We're still using WP because it's stable. Exactly, that's the thing. With WP, you know what you're doing, right? You're in control to an extent, and there's still so much good things you can do. And also, it's easier to hand over to a client. When you have an AI built website, and now you're having to do it via, like you said, Bolt or Lovable or Caffeine, you're paying a monthly fee to have it online. When you want to make changes, unless you are fucking brilliant on back-end coding, because it's all loads of code drivel, you're now relying on the AI. And the worst thing is you're hoping that platform does not go bankrupt. Lovable is not going to go bankrupt anytime soon. But what if it did? You could argue, but WordPress could go bankrupt. WordPress has been around 20 years now, all right? It's pretty much here for a long haul, okay? But imagine Caffeine.ai is being promoted heavily, right? And people are building apps and stuff. What happens if Caffeine.ai suddenly go, we're liquidating? What happens then? Because you are reliant so massively on their system. Null Fusion Fighter, how you doing? As WordPress moves further toward full site editing and AI-generated layouts, does manual theme development still represent craftsmanship? I use the Hello theme, all right? I don't like to use developed themes. The theme for me is like the skeleton, the bare bones. It's not even the skeleton. It's just literally like the foundation, the ground. I mean, I build all on top of that. So I don't like AI-generated layouts. I'm going to tell you now, there is not a single AI-generated layout I have created or prompted or seen where I've gone, wow, All of them are very flawed. Very, very, very flawed. Gail, what about the customer that needs to use it on his own? Exactly, that's the thing, Gail, right? When you're stuck in an AI system and suddenly you hand over to a client or whatever, they may not want to do that, you know. And I feel like WordPress is a little bit... Sorry, I'm yawning. WordPress is a little bit more reliable. And even if you're not around, they can easily find someone else to take over the website, or they can learn it themselves or run with it. And there's so many tutorials out there. That's another thing I do want to point out, okay? If you wanted to learn how to use WordPress, like, you know, the basics, the settings and all of that, and you wanted to learn how to use Elementor, there's tons of tutorials out there, aren't there? Like, loads. Now, how many good, lovable Bolt tutorials are there? And what I mean by that is when you watch a tutorial, the tutorials are often them doing what they want to do. They very, very rarely teach you lovable. Do you get what I mean? So they teach you about using it, and if you are going to have a website, you need to have these connections and these things in place. If you want to have an app, you must do da 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 da. If you want to have something else, you must do da 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 da. So forget the build, right? It's a bit like if you want to have a WordPress website, right? When you go back to basics, you got to have a domain, you got to have a host, you got to have an SSL certificate, probably part of the host. You got to think about your emails. You got to make sure you've got your WordPress installed and all of that, your settings. So before you build the home page, all of the back-end thing, like WooCommerce or a shop, your shipping, your taxes, your products, your variations, you got to think about all these things before you build the shop. Nearly all of the lovable Bolt, loads of different solutions, platforms out there, whenever I've watched any of their videos, they literally dive straight into, right, now we're building this and now we're going to go there and do that. They don't properly educate on Lovable. I'm using Lovable as an example, by the way. I'm not having a go at Lovable or anything, right? But you have Lovable, and now you have a flow chart that says, right, what are you building? Are you building a website? Are you building an app? Are you building a paid app? Are you building a, I don't know, whatever, something else, right? And if you're now going to build that, you now have to ensure you got dot, 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 dot. And you got to make sure, and where do you go to get that, or how do you do it? If you want to do an app, and it's going to be a paid app or a free app, and it's going to be on the Apple Store or Android Play Store or whatever, you got to do. You got to make sure you think about all these things before you jump into building. And that is where a lot of people, I think, are going wrong at the moment with some of those tutorials. They just jump straight into assuming, yeah, you know what to do and all of that. Or they make out, oh, you know, we'll cover it in a later video. No, you need to cover that at the start. So in the Elementor course, I start off like the first, I don't know, 2 or 3 videos are literally just about WordPress, basics, the settings. Yeah, you are right, Mac. You know, I do feel quite a lot tired with AI as well. I don't like it. I'm seeing so many sponsored adverts now where it's so clear the person on there is AI. You lose trust in it, don't you? Chrislava, good to see you. Most of my clients come to me, I need a website, says Gail. I have to think and create a small business system for them. Yep. AI is great in helping me generate images and sometimes refining the content. So I'll have in my mind, here's the H1 headline we're going to go for, and here's the first paragraph of text. And sometimes I look at it and I go, I'm not sure. I mean, I'll ask AI and go, do you think this could have been done better? If so, give me some examples. And then you pinch bits here and there. So you can use AI to help yourself out. Hey, Barbara, I hope you're okay. Mac, AI can write any code, but what about load? Will actually handle production. That's what I mean. This is what I mean, Mac, right? So what happens is when you have your domain and then you get your host, let's say you're using SiteGround, you know your limits. There's a support team there. Are you getting too much traffic? Are your inodes maxed out? Are you is your email box too big and all of that? You're getting all of this stuff, right? Okay. You got a support network. Who the fuck's going to help you out with Lovable or Bolt or all of these other apps? Has anyone ever fully got to a point where they had a proper technical issue and they got that proper big time support? I don't think you're going to get it. I would love to be proven wrong. And one day, maybe I'll create an app. Some sort of, I don't know. How about an app that optimizes the images on your phone instantly to WebP format? Would that be possible? I don't know now. I don't know. But, you know, whether you use a web designer or you do it yourself as a client or whatever, so you're not even using a web designer, when you're using a host provider, even GoDaddy, right? I know I've had issues with GoDaddy, but even if you use GoDaddy, there's still a support system there, right? So I'm not criticizing the AI solutions out there because they're amazing. But there will come a point where people are going to realize that I thought AI could do it all for me, but now when I need help, I wish I had used something else. And that's what often happens with clients who use Shopify. Then they realize, oh, I don't like Shopify now, and then we build a WooCommerce. Or they used Wix, and it wasn't as easy as they thought it was with drag and drop. Or Squarespace, which was absolutely awful, and they still struggle to understand how to use it. So people always do kind of come back and forth. Oh, Daedalux, I'm on AI all the time, but I just say, right, that people using AI to build websites is happening, but there will come a point, I think, where you'll have the early users and they're happy, and then you'll have some users that aren't happy and they'll come back to people to build websites. Yeah, anti-gravity, I've heard a lot about that. I need to play around with that a little bit more, and I am planning to do that. Max says, X has so many posts where vibe coded sites show all sensitive data to waiting for high priority. Yeah, do you know something? Again, Mac, so many people are developing things, right? And I have seen some scenarios where I'm like, how secure is this? Like they say, hey, look, you can build something that will now collect, you know, information about you that you're entering, your height and your weight, and it will do like a fitness workout. And I'm sat there thinking, is that secure? Can someone hack that? Can someone get hold of that information? You know? North Fusion, in the age of AI, are standard WordPress skills sufficient? Why not? I think so. I seriously think so. And here's what I'm going to say, okay? WordPress has been around now over 20 years now, okay? You could argue that you could be an amazing WordPress website builder, designer, without any CSS skills. You don't need CSS to build a WordPress website. I know I like to use CSS, but you don't have to. You could have a formula-winning website, winning awards, loads of people visiting, #1 in Google with zero code. You could do that. You could build a website with zero JavaScript. There's so much you can do where you don't have to be amazingly skilled in CSS, you know, C++, JavaScripting, PHPing, all of this stuff. You don't have to. If you can, you can. Right? Of course you can. But AI just helps us to accelerate what we want to get built or we weren't sure how to do it. That's what it does. It still needs us kind of thing in a way, I think. Ah, well done, John. That's exactly what I said, didn't I, John? That there would be companies out there that would be looking for this sort of thing. Well done, mate. You've hit the gold mine. I'm glad you took on my advice there. I'm glad you did that. Because it was a very niche thing that wouldn't really be useful for a lot of people, but there will be those. Pagola, right? Okay. Not bad, is it, mate? Not bad what you did there. Well done. Mac, those who understand the fundamentals will have an advantage over those who understand nothing. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you just rely on AI, right, and it gives you code, you won't spot the mistakes until the mistakes hit you in the face. I'm pretty good at sometimes running through the code and spotting things. I do overlook some things sometimes, but having some understanding is a good thing. But it's not gonna stop you. And I just think that website building is gonna go through what I think the next 2 years is a discovery period for websites. I think we're now in an era where will we suddenly see people just stop turning to WordPress and just using AI? Because you have to also think about how do people find answers now. So if I was going to go on holiday, I'd be using AI to find out about destinations and stuff like that. So people are using AI now to do a lot of the research for them or get answers, even to help them with decision making. At the end of the day, you're going to still need, like, even if ChatGPT said to me, right, I found the perfect holiday, do you want to book it now? I would not feel comfortable booking via AI. I would be saying to ChatGPT, right, give me the link for me to go to the website. And then I would interrogate a bit more about what am I getting, what am I not getting, all of the details. And I would book via the website. Why? Because the minute I start to offload serious money, if there is a problem, I want to know there is an email, a contact number, someone that I can speak to if there's a problem. If you go via AI, let's say you wanted to go on a holiday and AI goes, right, here you go. Do you want to book now the flight and the holiday and the airport transfers, right? And you do it, and then something goes wrong. Something goes wrong. Who are you going to go to? Who are you going to speak to? Are you going to go to AI and go, where's your support desk? Where's my ticket? Where's my money? Because AI will suddenly go, sorry, you hit your limitation. Or it might say, your prompt is too long. Or, I don't know what you're talking about. So, there is still a need for the website, the landing zone. So the AI does all the research. And I would still want to go to the website to now do my booking or take it further. Greg, thank you very much for that. Great seeing you too. Busy trying to get things in order. Hey, look. Make sure you check out the Elementor course if not, but also keep an eye out on all the other videos I'm doing as well. You know, just because I have like members only videos, that doesn't mean I've reduced my normal free videos at any time at the moment. Well, that's the thing, Chris, isn't it? ChatGPT is going to help you to ChatGPT removes the need for you to go and do a search on a UK trip, and then you end up reading 20 blogs. And every blog says something different, and you're making notes. Oh, they said that, and they said go here, and they said do that, and they said do this. You're making notes. ChatGPT allows you to refine to what you're kind of going, what you think you'd like, or where you'd like to stay, or what you'd like to do. And then you go to a tourist agent or a website, and now you're more clued up on what you're booking. It makes it easier for you. And that's how I see it working at the moment. And that's why websites are still just as important. And in fact, you know, if you're a directory website and you're pretty good with your SEO and your AEO, answer engine optimization, and your LLMS, you do all of that stuff, then there's a very good chance that ChatGPT will find your website. So someone says, what do you think is a good hotel in Leicester? You know, it's got parking and Wi-Fi. There's a chance it might refer back to the information on your website, and then the link takes them there, and then they do the booking on your website. So websites are still there, you know. I've been live for 52 minutes. I'm going to cut the live in 8 minutes. I'm telling you, right, that I haven't had caffeine since yesterday afternoon. So I am close to 24 hours without caffeine. This is proper cold turkey caffeine at the moment. My eyes are like, I feel like my eyes are like a turkey's neck, like starting to droop a little bit. Max says, if you buy a service and stuck, AI won't help. Socials can ban your account. You're depending on their rules, which are constantly changing. Do whatever you want on your... Yeah, exactly. You know, and sometimes, you know, because the AI is always developing, which is good. It develops in a good way. I'm probably not explaining myself very well, but relying on just AI, I think, is such a risk at the moment. This just goes to show how reliant I'm on caffeine. I'll have to get some sort of like caffeine drop now. Something to just drop in a bit of caffeine. But you can't. I bet you can get caffeine drops. Something you just add to your drink and it inserts caffeine into it. I'll use ChatGPT later to do a bit of research on that now. But this is really good. It's Capri orange. So it's not just orange that's like really bitter or whatever. This is Capri orange. This is really nice, but there's no sugar in it. There is no sugar, zero carbs, and it's like 0.0005 calories, right? So 9 drops at the moment into this, and it tastes really good. And you know what I like as well? Yesterday, I had about this much left in the bottle. Can you see this properly? Let me show you. I had about this much left, roughly here. And I wanted to test it out. So I put it in the fridge. If you leave Pepsi Max with that much overnight, the next morning it tastes awful. It tasted like I just made it. And it still had fizz. And I was like, this is quite good. Anyway, AI has already crossed the point of no return, is increasingly being trained on content. Now, I said this a year ago to some people and they thought I was talking rubbish. What I said was, 3-4 years ago, AI was trained on human content or what was put out there. Now, AI is learning from human content, but it's now learning on a lot of AI content because a lot of people are using AI to write their blog posts and stuff and social media. So AI is learning off that. If you got bad stuff, AI is learning more and more bad stuff. Secondly, there is so much false shit out there on social media and blog posts and what people write religiously, politically, geographically, financially, illy, all of these things, right? AI learns off them, right? And it will get things wrong. It really does. Do you know something? ChatGPT 5.2, when ChatGPT 5 came out, I was like, this is quite there's a jump. But I have not seen anything with 5.1 or 5.2 that's made me go, this has got better. I haven't seen it. 4.5 to 5, there was a bit of a, I thought, this is explaining things better to me. 5.1, 5.2, zilch. And there have been times where I've had to go back to ChatGPT and other systems, and I've had to say, do you now understand how we got to the answer in how I pushed you to go down this route and to do X, Y, Z? Do you understand why? And it kind of goes, yeah, because you were trying to be very particular to risk manage and not make assumptions. And I was like, well, yeah, that's what you need to do. You need to stop assuming. So if I want to do X, Y, Z, don't assume that X doesn't matter and we'll focus on Z. If I want X, Y, Z, give me X, Y, Z. Don't ignore a couple of them and just do whatever you think, because that wasn't my intention or what I was aiming to reach. So AI, I think, is going to get a little bit stupid as well, right? Because it's learning off stupid. And I'm not trying to say everything humans did was brilliant, but I think it was a little bit more polished or a little bit more refined, because AI empowered more people than ever to create blogs and social media posts and stuff. We're now getting much more crap out there, and it will all congregate. So it'll be interesting to see how AI handles all of that. Okay, everyone, we're coming up to the final minute and a half, and then I'm going to jump off. Thanks for everyone that's joined in. Like, subscribe, share, and follow. Check out the Elementor courses. Please do make sure you watch our videos continuously, and please make sure you comment as well. Comments do mean a lot. But I want to just summarize by saying, if anyone felt that I was attacking them when I was talking about the business guru scams out there, we need to understand, I am alerting people to the fact that you need to watch out for people that are making empty promises, in that you're going to make money doing YouTube videos, you're going to make money by getting loads of clients, because they are so open-ended that there's very little, no control over you achieving any of them. And they just take your money, put you into a group session or whatever, and they don't really care whether you make it or not. People that do courses for Elementor, bricks, or whatever, how to improve your business, they are not scams as long as they deliver on what they promised, and they don't just, chuck you into a group session or whatever where they're not even there. That is what I was highlighting. But so many people don't get that. And quite frankly, they need to watch the video from start to finish, and maybe they'll change their minds. Yep, happy 2026 to everyone out there. Hopefully I'll see you all again next week. I'm going to jump off now. Take care. Imran from Web Squadron signing off.